Well, hello everybody. It's late and I want to do this video. It's cold in Ontario, cold, terrible, stormy night, but that's winter, it's February, and I want to talk today about Elon Musk and his latest tweets that are viral. It's on his platform. He controls, he owns. And he goes off on Illuminati, Freemasonry. He says in a joking manner, but to say that somehow that is the evil that is corrupting the world today. A lot of people run to it. They believe that to be true. And folks, when you look at the history of Freemasonry, these Illuminati, you do get into unions. You do. There's a lot of Freemasonry in unions. I've seen it. I'm not a Freemason, but I am a subject in a constitutional monarchy called Canada, as was Elon Musk, and even before that, his whole family history is that of South Africa during apartheid, absolute apartheid. And the interesting thing about Elon Musk and his family, I want to go through this. His brother, apparently, just like him, is able as a chef to become the greatest chef the world has ever seen. The wealthiest chef the world has ever seen. Like, there's two geniuses who hereditarily are able to create wealth that nobody else can generate. There's a big problem here, folks. A very, very big problem. And I cross my T's, I dot my I's. And I come from Canada my whole life. I was raised, just like everybody else, in a constitutional monarchy. There's not very many left in the world where they don't define the people as citizens. They define them as subjects, and there's even savages. South Africa was one of those countries. Before World War II, the world was chocked full of constitutional monarchies. As with South Africa, they had a savage black African, the South Africans, who were what you call indigenous to the South African regions. Elon Musk's family was white elites who had a history like many other white elites from a royal family, designed exactly like Canada, but not before Canada, after Canada. Now, those white elites, an extreme minority, subjugated the overwhelming population of South Africans indigenous to the region. Lucrative amounts of diamonds. Elon Musk is a wealthy, wealthy individual. Now, USA, along with the Allies, we're going back some time ago, since 1958. Many presidents got involved, but it wasn't until Richard Nixon in the early 70s that made major civil rights accomplishments, agreeing to USSR's terms and absolutely ending all savagery of human beings worldwide. Both USA and Russia completed that task. It was done from 1960, while Richard Nixon was Senate leader, all the way through his attempt to gain presidency, losing against JFK. He would reclaim, upon the death of JFK, the subsequent election. Richard Nixon would win it major majority. Now, what happened following that is the law of decolonization, ending the crown, went viral worldwide. Lots of countries freed all through the 70s. And we hit South Africa as one of those countries, a constitutional monarchy designed identically to Canada. Not before Canada, after Canada. You've heard about conflict diamonds, blood diamonds. The royal elites wealthy, racist whites with no skill in mining, no craft of ingenuity, raped, pillaged, and plundered by the crown military might alone against all the savage South Africans who were thrown in lower class, subhuman beings. You could literally, if you drank out of the wrong fountain, could get hung up in the street and have your testicles cut open from your sack to hang out and let you bleed out. It happened to children. True stories. The allies of World War II, from Richard Nixon upon his change in the United States of America, for all what were the savage Indians and the rest of the civil rights accomplishments for the African Americans under what was apartheid too of America to a degree, had ended with Richard Nixon. Upon that, the world shifted to South Africa. Ronald Reagan gave a tremendous speech to the entire world on a far-off elite in a far-off land that is trying to take the world back over. He gives a monumental speech. He was elected to presidency. He went on to see the destruction and the vote against South Africa, the full dismemberment. That was Ronald Reagan. They issued UNSC protocols in penmanship with Communist Russia, which was the USSR, and Communist China, against the wishes of the United Kingdom, who held Nelson Mandela in prison for 31 years that would go into the 90s. Ronald Reagan saw penmanship following Richard Nixon's lead. They continued forward. You can all look this up. I've already tagged Facebook Fact Check. It's logged in the United Nations Security Council. Everything that USA, USSR of the time, and Communist China did. It continues on all the way through the end of USSR to would be the Federation of Russia, the fall of the Soviet Union, continues on in full penmanship against the United Kingdom and France, who France finally flipped, but not UK. UK held out as the 1P5 member. Royal family held out. They were getting a tremendous amount of wealth to the United Kingdom through South Africa, wealthy elites like Elon Musk's family. The dismemberment that started, the Musk family fled South Africa with a crap load of diamonds. It makes sense. You don't see two geniuses pop up in any family. There's no such thing as a genius chef anywhere in the world who creates a $600 million chef enterprise in the United States of America. So apparently there's Elon Musk and his brother who are super geniuses, a genius chef? I don't think so. Elon Musk was never an ideas man. Everybody else had the ideas. He had the money and the financing. Where did he get it? The family ran to British Columbia. They did not go to the United States. They fled the end of apartheid. They didn't get dismembered like all the other wealthy elites. They didn't. The Allies never got him. Ronald Reagan didn't get him. We go on to George Bush. He didn't get him. And Bill Clinton, they didn't get him. But those three presidents over a 10-year period destroyed everything elite about South Africa. I know nobody's got that story, but you will find every ounce of it logged in the United Nations Security Council for anyone to read. You can even look up all three presidents' speeches on South Africa, every single one, and what those three presidents did between 1984 to 1994. Where was the Musk family? Were they dismembered and re-educated? No. They were safe and sound in British Columbia. Continuing on with the blood conflict diamonds that they took and fled with in South Africa, continued on through BC, Ontario and the De Beers, and the massive same style rape of the diamonds out of Ontario with the De Beers. Dirty Musks are there too. Where do you think the idea came from? Where do you think that skill came from the UK? The Musk family. Go look at their BC to Toronto trajectory. Who came up with the idea? A family that fled the dismemberment of apartheid, who didn't go through any re-education. From there, Musk goes down long after, down into the States with wealth. He seems to generate, his brother too, the family generates wealth. He's the biggest, created billionaire with the largest divine socialism attached to him. He seems to generate a lot of taxpayer-funded wealth. Absolutely through NASA. That's all taxpayers. That's all divine socialism. None of that money is raised by shareholders from wealthy families or large corporations. It's generated largely, just like the cars, just like his NASA programs, all from taxpayers or borrowed against American taxpayers. During COVID, you watch Musk's wealth go up, and then you watch it like all the other divine elites go down. But he holds the single largest transfer of wealth from the people of America than anybody else. Look at his growth. There's lots of them. Lots of people talk about these wealthy elites that draw all the wealth from the people. This wasn't created from shareholders. This was gifted and promised to by taxpayers, whether they had it or not, borrowed against taxpayers in massive deficit spending, debt loading to pay him for his programs. It's not generated by his success. There's not anything with electric cars and any success that shows his wealth. It's all through government legislation, largely from the left, that he seemingly criticizes, creates a narrative with Tim Urban, who, if you go look at his Twitter handle, he's a king. He's a king. He uses the notion of king. Where do they get that concept from? Oh yeah, constitutional monarchies. The monarch, the king of kings. This is what they have. You can go look at Twitter. I've screenshotted all of it. These have been his Twitter posts saying that it's the Illuminati. I can guarantee you unions, though Masonic and organized labor, do not run the world. Am I a Freemason? No. I know that there's lots out there. Don't agree with the ideology, but I'm not into any religions. And I do know what the Crown did to Freemasons. If you've never looked at that, and the church, go look what they did to them. Same as witches and wizards. I'm not saying I like their ideology. I don't. I don't like lots of different socialisms. I don't like the divine left. But I don't like the crown colonialism that is the single biggest source of socialism, so far removed that it's divine socialism of the highest order. Old world order, the worst the world's ever been. We had 2 large world wars from that, and I know that that is the war in America today. Look at the Musk family, the only family not to go through the Allies' dismemberment of South Africa. They escaped. Where did they escape? My country, Canada. The source of all crown colonials. South Africa, Nazi Germany, we can go on and on, there's many. He's a family that fled that. No re-education, absolutely no dismemberment. They didn't go through what the other crown colonials went through, the divine first class from South Africa. They fled to Canada, they took their wealth, they used their wealth, and I promise you there was probably a lot of diamonds traded off. Can't prove it, no you can't. but you can prove their family history. And there's a lot of talk about where did the money come from? How does he get all these governments to take the wealth from the people and give it to him? He claims that he created a lot of tech. He's a master of this, master of that. But you and your family seem to be extremely fortunate, extremely lucky. So lucky that it's literally in the billions to one, let alone two brothers. One's a chef, and he's an elite chef, the greatest chef to ever build an empire of food industry. I don't think so. Two members of one family. The odds of that are astronomical. No, there's diamonds involved. Just like Canada, Ontario, and the De Beers. Millions of dollars floating out, just like those African countries. Blood and conflict diamonds, just like his family, in there like a dirty shirt. Guaranteed they ran out with the goods, got away from dismemberment from the Allies, came to Canada. Go through the crown, it's crown system. That's what it is, not Illuminati. It's crown colonial, first-class tyrants. Always been the evil of the world, right to all royal families, many kingdoms still alive today. They're all extremely wealthy with extremely poor. That's the truth of it. Facebook fact check that. Go through it, you'll find it's all true. He is part of that elite. He hides. Trump talks about it. Lots talk about it. Let's see what Tucker Carlson does with that. Thanks, that's my video. All real, credible, verifiable. And what's crazy is I'm going to post Tim Urban and his crown, his king, and his elite status, trying to get a left and right war of the American citizen to create subjects. Divide the people along the lines of left and right. So many good presidents tell you there is no left and right. There's only up and down, and a divine elite from a far-off land. Been the story of America and America's war world over. All of the colonials, 5 of them they fought. One colonial hides in America's mist, and they keep it going. And these are the elites. They're running the world, and they're ruining America. It's a war on America. Turn the world into subjects. That's my video. Elon's no friend. He's evil. Bye now.